Look, nobody wants nuance, okay? Nobody cares about the story you tell in the ring. We want glamour. Who cares how good your in-ring story is if you aren't doing it in front of the Princess Adi? And look, it's not just because I signed a Legends deal last week, but until someone like Ospreay becomes a superstar, then he's a nobody. Hey, who the fuck are you? How'd you get in here? What's with the bat? Wait, what are you? Hey, put the fucking bat down!
Will you shut the fuck up already? Jesus! We'll be right back, folks.
And now, coming to you live via satellite from a smoked-out Southern California bedroom, the Princess of Pay, Her High-as-Hell Highness, Brett Michelle! You gotta be fucking kidding me. Serious? Brett Michelle!
Shit, hey dude, sorry I'm late, man. I needed a snack. Holy shit. Hey, who are all these people, man?
Yeah, what a joker. This is your audience. We're live.
Oh shit. Hey, what's up everybody? This is The Hard Way. I'm Brett Michelle. The square over there is Blade Bailey,
Hey.
And I have no idea how I ended up with a show, but here the fuck I am. We don't have any experts. We don't care about commercialism, ratings, all of that garbage. We're just here for the ass, gas, and the craps, baby. Anyway, we got a killer first show, and I want y'all to join me and the other 3/4 of the gaggle of freaks we like to call the Sickos Club while we start celebrating the greatest gift the world has ever given us. That's not named Johnny Thunders. Pro fucking wrestling. Wait, no. Hey, man, you know, I love Donna Summer as much as the next fucking queer, but I can't have this late disco shit as my theme song, man. Hold on. Here, put this shit in, man. All right, there we go. All right, y'all.
We'll be right back, folks.
We are back to the first episode of The Hard Way. I have got some fantastic people joining me, the other 3/4 of what we like to call the Sickos Club. And I know a lot of you have probably been wondering what the fuck that is. And I'm going to tell you. This is a mission statement from the Sickos Club website. Pro wrestling fucking rules. It's inarguable. Some say it's subjective, but fuck them. What do they know? Sickos Club is a fan-focused project of unhinged passion and maniacal joy. We share weekly podcasts, blog posts, visual art, and so fucking much more. No, we are not a toxic positivity place. We criticize and critique when we feel the need, but that's not the premise of what we do or who we are. No. Sickos Club is for the rebels, the revolutionaries, looking for a cause. Sickos Club isn't chasing SEO and clicks. We come from the heart, baby. Sickos Club is not a collection of experts. We're just a bunch of wildly speculating idiots. But we're not going to wildly speculate about revenue or profit, because who fucking gives a shit? Our only expertise is passion. Community, inclusion, absurdity, and quite frankly, a whole lot of fucking stupidity. Because, I mean, pro wrestling's pretty fucking dumb. But that's what we love, right? Anyway, we live in perilous times. The world is pretty fucked up, and pro wrestling is our refuge. It's not a place to fight about dates and stock prices. We're here to have fun. And that's what we're about to do. So joining me now, friends, are some friends. Say hello to the Sickos Club, everybody.
Hello.
Sickos Club, say hello.
Oh, yeah, hi.
Hola.
Blade. Damn it, Blade. All right. So we're going to get to know these chuckleheads. Hello, Joshi.
Hey!
This, ladies and gentlemen, is Joshi G. She is one of the founding members of Sickos Club. She is
Joshi.
half of the
Hi.
Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out podcast. She is the other estrogen warrior of this group.
Hi,
My
Joshi.
pussy pal. Well, I mean, unless, Trump makes gender-affirming surgeries outlawed, then we'll have to come up with another name. But that's neither here nor there. Hello, Joshi.
Hello!
Hi, Joshi.
Estrogen all the way, baby.
Oh, that's goddamn right, isn't it?
I talk
So-
to you all the time, so
Blade,
whatever.
shut the
You see,
fuck
he's
up.
always cutting me
Hi,
off.
Joshi.
Every
You
time.
see what I mean?
Every
On the
time,
podcast,
this little weasel.
on our podcast, on your podcast, every
It's
freaking time.
unbelievable.
I know.
I'm actually-
Blade.
I have these earbuds in, but I'm listening to a different podcast while we're recording this, so I don't know. what
Wow,
you guys
you're
are talking
freaking
about.
rude, dude. Kick him off.
Anyway, so, Joshi,
Yes.
I want you, like much of the country already does right now, to pretend I'm an alien. What's pro wrestling?
So, if you want to watch half-naked people wrestle each other in the ring, you should watch pro wrestling.
Okay.
But in all serious, it's you have one person playing the villain, the other person playing the hero. They get in the ring together and they fight. And whoever the winner is will dictate whether they're in a good or bad position for the next few months.
But it's fake.
Well, it's predetermined, but what they do in the ring isn't all fake. I mean, when somebody lands on you, they really do land on you, And when they
Okay.
hit the ropes do hurt. But the winner of the match is predetermined.
I can dig that. Ghost, what about you? What would you say?
It's gay.
Hmm.
No,
We
it's
love that.
there's men and men, and then there's women on women, and they say love letters at each other,
Mm.
and then they try to prove that love through physical acts of violence in a very,
That's-
very homoerotic way.
Far out, man. Far out.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. So
Also, this is Neon Ghost, one of the other founders of Sickos Club. Brett.
Hello.
yeah, we're getting there, man. Why don't you just chill out, man?
Well, I'm trying to.
Jesus,
I'm trying to
Blade.
chill.
I swear to God, man.
And Blade seems really stressed out today.
Anyway,
This
you just
fucking
lost
guy.
your turn. You just lost your turn.
What?
You just lost your turn. Anyway,
Thought this was a professional podcast. Hey.
hi,
Hey, how's it
Ghost. How are
Hello.
you?
Oh, I'm so good.
This is Ghost, a fantastic artist. I know nothing about him. Nothing. He's a literal fucking ghost. What do you love about pro wrestling?
I love it. My earliest memory is like seeing, regrettably now, these characters, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, probably at WrestleMania 3 or whatnot. Back at a time when it was so popular, your whole family watched it. Like everybody was gathered around the TV in the living room. And, just something that stuck in my brain. And then when they stopped watching it, I found it on TV, like in 96. And I was like, oh, yeah, wrestling. I remember. I like that shit. So I just picked up watching it on my own, and I've been watching it ever since. It's better than other sports. It's just so entertaining. The pageantry, the theater of it, the storytelling, it's top notch.
Beautiful. All right. I hate to do this, but sometimes he says some stuff that's pretty smart. Blade,
Ugh.
what do you think it is about, going off what Ghost was saying? What is it about wrestling that just, resonates so much across different generations and different social groups or what have you? I've never seen a media that connects with so many different groups of people in such kind of a rabid way, you know? Like, what do you think that? Why is it wrestling that does that?
First of all, I just want to say how lovely it is to be here with you, great people.
Look, man, you don't
guys
gotta kiss my
are-
ass. You don't gotta kiss my ass, man. Just answer the question.
You guys are. I'm sorry. I'm reading notes on my hand. You guys are lovely and wonderful, and I'm excited to be here with you all today in this your daughter's wedding.
What?
I'm sorry. That's my notes from The
Huh?
Godfather.
Brett, I didn't know you had a daughter.
Okay.
Don't. I don't. Why?
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
Brett's
I
daughter
accidentally
got
copied
married.
the monologue of Luca Brasi from The Godfather onto my hand. So anyway,
Dork, man.
How old's your daughter, Brett?
Is it illegitimate?
Yeah.
Much like
exactly.
this show.
Yes. Okay, so let's rewind. Okay. World building is what it's about, I think.
You say fuck too much.
So it's about world building. It's about fucking world building, and people enjoy watching this simulation of reality that is not anything like real life. It's like way simpler and dumber, and things just make more sense when it's done well than real life does, because there's barely any nuance to it. And so people get to experience a reality that's easier to understand and control.
Yeah, well, so thinking of like, that connection to reality that pro wrestling has that a lot of people seem to love. I mean, to me at least, it seems like today wrestling fans seem to be craving more, like a more reality presented product, right? Like they want characters that are, John Smith as opposed to like, the fucking Boulder. Do you think what do you guys think about like the goofy characters, the absurd kind of cartoony characters? Do you think there's still a place in pro wrestling for that? And like in that kind of, hyper realistic presentation?
Of course, there should always be goofy characters in wrestling. Wrestling shouldn't only be catered to one demographic. It should be like a buffet where you have different types of matches, different types of characters for a wide range of people. I enjoy some of the goofiness as long as it's not overdone. For example, I think Orange Cassidy is excellent.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't want him to be told to not put his hands in his pockets. There's a room for everything in professional wrestling except for racism, homophobia,
Mhm.
sexism, and all of that bad stuff. There's no room for, but all the positivity,
All of the isms.
diversity. Yeah, exactly. Transphobia is not cool.
What do you think about characters like our lawyer buddy Frank? Like what do you like? What do we think about those kind of characters in this more hyper realistic setting?
Like Frank Mortos,
Yeah, dude.
attorney at RAR.
Yeah.
Stop
I think he
it.
fits in great. I think that's the thing is like, like if every character was like Beast Mordos, it would suck. But it's what makes him stand out so much. And the fact that he's such a good sport about just playing into being a Minotaur is what makes him such a fun character. I think the one of the magical things about pro wrestling is that pro wrestling is winking at you the entire time. It's always acknowledging that it's a work. It's so funny that people think that like pro wrestling only started doing that like recently or something. Like it's always done that. And, Orange Cassidy is like a self-aware wrestler who is pretending to be unself-aware. And the audience gets that and they love it. And you kind of can't do that anywhere else. And that's why Orange Cassidy's so good. He's a great actual worker, right? But he's also like super, super clever. And it's like a weird vortex like imploding upon itself. So there's so much depth and shallowness to Orange Cassidy or Beast Mordos at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, so that's making me think, because such a big part of, pro wrestling is, and it's just at this point, it feels like it's just one of those fucking buzzwords that you throw around on the internet. Feel like you're like some shit, but kayfabe, like the element of kayfabe, and in today's day and age where everything's online and we see behind the scenes of everything, and WWE, especially right now, is doing a lot of, pulling the curtain back and showing people like this is how we made this moment happen. Does that like hurt the products for you, or like where do you draw the line at how much you want to know?
To be frank, I don't really want to see that stuff. When AEW tried that reality show, I wasn't into it at all. I just felt like I don't need to know this stuff. I don't care. And
Yeah.
plus, you see these wrestlers bickering with each other. I don't care about the backstage stuff. I don't care about how things get done. Like, I care about what I see in front of my screen. And I do think that it's important to keep kayfabe alive. And when you're showing too much of what's going behind backstage and you're explaining how things are done, it's just you're throwing that narrative out there where it's like it is fake, and of course we're aware, but it doesn't need to be so in your face, you know.
Hmm.
Like when I was a kid, I legitimately thought that Bret and Owen Hart hated each other, and
Right.
I
Yep.
miss those.
Yep.
I miss that. I really do. Like when Vince McMahon went on television and said wrestling is fake. That was such a stupid thing to do, in my opinion. Um, it's good, like even this whole thing a couple of years ago with MJF, where they said he was potentially leaving the company. We still don't know to this day if that was a work or not,
Yeah.
and I like that. I truly do. I think keeping kayfabe alive is extremely
K-Babe.
important.
Okay, babe.
Kayfabe.
Yeah, babe.
Hey, babe.
We definitely got to keep K-Babe alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a t-shirt idea right there.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Let the lady finish, man.
But yeah, absolutely. I think showing too much of how things are done hurts the credibility of the show to an extent.
What is it about the way we look at pro wrestlers as fans that we seem to almost hold these characters in higher emotional regard than characters of any other media. You know what I mean? Like the connection we as fans feel to our favorite wrestlers, to me anyway, seems to be for most people different than the way we connect to, say a character in a movie or a TV show. And I wonder what that is. Like why again, why is it wrestling that has that special kind of joie de vivre?
I think it's because when it comes to professional wrestling, you get to see it live. Like you can actually go to a show, and the way everything is presented makes you feel like you're a part of the show, and so you feel a connection. Whereas, of course, when it comes to movies and TV shows, you have your favorite characters and whatnot, but there isn't that same sort of connection to those characters because they don't have these live shows that an audience attends, right? So it's not the same thing. I feel that's what makes wrestling so special. The fans are an actual part of the show. Without the fans, imagine how boring wrestling would be.
Oh, we kind of saw it during the pandemic. It was not my favorite time to be a fan, I'll tell you that much.
It was rough, right? The pandemic era was really hard.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like wrestling, sorry, cannot exist without fans in attendance.
Yeah. Yeah.
To that same point, the wrestlers go out there and they only get one shot to execute the storyline or whatever they're trying to pull off that week. Actors on TV shows and movies, they get to redo their scenes over and over again, sometimes months later when they have reshoots. Like, hey, we got to get this looking exactly 100% right. Wrestlers get one shot, one opportunity
Yeah.
to go out there and make magic happen. And that's probably why they tell a lot of the same stories over and again. You know, they know how to execute them well, but that's part of what makes it so special. You know, they're doing it right in the moment, live, no redos, no second takes. So when it succeeds and they hit their marks, it's like fucking pure magic, you know, and when they don't, it's like, well, you fucked up. You got to learn from it and move on. The show goes on.
And the fan base can be so ruthless without considering all of that too. You know, it's
so
like
ruthless.
they're like actors and athletes at the same time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I want to hit on a point you kind of made there, Ghost, about, you know, how sometimes it's pro wrestling can recycle a lot of the same story tropes over and over and over. And, you know, I understand back in the day when, you know, it wasn't as widely available to so many eyeballs, you could get away with that a lot more. But today, with like a weekly product that's coming out every week of the year to its viewers, I mean, is wrestling becoming too predictable? I mean, are you guys also kind of getting to a point where you almost like you're never really that surprised anymore?
Yes and no. So like that is a great point for one, because wrestling is somewhat predictable and it always has been, right? I remember as a kid realizing like, oh, I've seen Ric Flair do this same story with another person, right? In a different promotion. But because part of wrestling is wanting to feel like you understand how the act is being put on. And when they recycle those stories, you kind of feel like an insider when you realize it, right? And the other thing is comic books do the same thing, right? How many times has Spider-Man been just placed in a different continuity with the same characters and retold from the very beginning all over again? You know, or Superman or Batman, and because there's only so far you can go with it. And so they find a way to tell these stories again with a different cast maybe, or a different whatever, but essentially you know where it's coming from and you feel smart because of it. I think it's almost necessary.
I'm sorry, man, I wasn't listening.
Oh.
You guys mind if I do a J?
Not at all, of course not.
Fuck
All
yeah,
right,
man.
fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. All right.
Blow
So
it up.
I do.
Shut up, Blade. I'm finding my spot. What do you think cinema's place in pro wrestling is? Since that seems to be everyone's kind of word right now, or for the last couple of years, is cinema. And I mean, I myself, if I'm being honest, I stopped watching WWE recently due to having morals. But also, it just was starting to feel not for me. And I think a big part of that is some of the presentation that they were, you know, rolling out between Roman and Cody, where it looked like they were on a CW special, you know, where they're standing in the middle of the football field or whatever. There's like Secret Service and shit. Like what is that? Like I'm not trying to watch, you know, 24. I'm trying to watch pro fucking wrestling. Yeah, but at the same time, you know, there are cinematic, I guess you would call them, moments that are fantastically done. You know, I hate to sound like an AEW shill, which I've been accused of before, but you know, I think especially early on in the Death Rider stuff, some of those vignettes with Mox and crew were just, it was like David Fincher does wrestling. I ate it up, you know, especially that first video they kind of showed of them, the aftermath of the plastic bag incident, you know, and that shot of Danielson being carted away on the stretcher as the Death Riders are walking past to exit the arena. And then, you know, the next week or whatever, we get, you know, that promo in the back of the pickup truck. It was beautiful. And so when again, I kind of ask, like, where's that line? Like, when does it become hokey, and when does it work?
To me, wrestling isn't cinema. And I'm sure some wrestling fans won't like hearing this, but to me, cinema is film. And I
Hmm.
don't think, you know, there's a lot that comes, there's a lot involved in making a movie, right? And when it comes to wrestling, its own art form to me. I don't consider them even remotely the same thing. And when I hear, like, I remember, I believe it was like at the last year's Royal Rumble or something like that. Like, Sami Zayn turned on Roman Reigns or something, and people online were saying, "This is cinema. This is cinema." I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And even when it's AEW and people say cinema, I'm like, no, no. Cinema is movies. Television shows. That's its own thing. Wrestling is its own thing. It's essentially a combination of TV and sports, right? Now, of course, in wrestling, I expect good stories. I do want the wrestlers to be able to cut good promos. If they're not good on the mic, well, that takes it, that takes away from the promo or the segment. I do like the use of vignettes. I love Julia's vignettes a lot. Julia Hart's really well done. Death Riders as well. I love all that stuff and I appreciate it. I just don't I don't like when storylines drag on too long. I don't like too much repetition. To me, it's like stories don't have to be complicated.
Mhm.
Like the Hangman Page Kenny Omega storyline worked beautifully because it was told over time in a very simple manner. And to me, that's when it works really, really well.
See, I'm someone I think. I mean, obviously, as a kid, I was drawn to, as a kid with ADHD, I was drawn to the excitement and whatnot of pro wrestling. But I've also always been someone who's very driven by storytelling. I've always been a storyteller myself. I've always written. It's it's my one of my biggest passions is just the art of storytelling. And for me, I think pro wrestling always just kind of was the ultimate form of storytelling. You know what I mean? It was the ultimate, it was morality play in real life, in real time. And I personally feel like wrestling, I think there are great opportunities to tell really involved, deep stories, but I don't think any company has really figured that out yet, because I look at, going back to the Death Riders, when that first started out, my first thought was, oh, this is a story about radicalization,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of mirroring the events that are happening around us in the country right now, and I loved it. I was excited to see this story of radicalization, and it looked like it would be told through the eyes of Darby or even more so Wheeler Yuta, and in the beginning of it we had so many instances of them showing that kind of like, you're gonna be one of us whether you like it or not, when it came to Yuta. But now we've kind of gotten to a point where it's just random, like, random DQ finishes every match, or the Death Riders just running out to the ring, causing some ruckus, and then leaving. It's like, I think if they can get back to like moving a story forward and focus on some of those more human elements of that story, I think that's what's going to drive long-term storytelling. is being able to get past that initial kind of idea and not letting it just evolve into the same old wrestling promos every week, you know? Like, yeah, each segment's not getting a whole lot of TV time. If you really think about how much time a segment gets in a show, you know, maybe a whole segment could be 5-6 minutes at times. And I do think, as you know, as fans, that can make us kind of feel like nothing's happening at all. And a lot of times I think it's because nothing is happening at all. And I think that there is, like I said, you know, just a great opportunity that companies are kind of missing to like just do something a bit different and dig into the emotions of the story. I think I'm realizing in this moment, I think it's almost like the motivations behind a lot of the things characters do in wrestling is there's just so many missed opportunities to explore those feelings deeper. And you know, I'm stoned as fuck, so we're going to go to the next question for Ghost. If you had a finishing move, what would it be, and what would you call it?
Oh, fuck. Well, that's like the $64 million question there, isn't it?
Oh, so you're not calling it oh fuck. You were just saying
No.
oh fuck.
I was exclaiming. You know what? Actually, I might call it oh fuck.
Mine's the brown note, and it's a pile driver.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite move has been one that I thought I invented in my head because I don't think I had ever seen it, and then I found out it was an actual move. Surprise. It's the
DDT.
running front flip DDT. So you got one guy goes at another guy, grabs his head like he would for a DDT, but then he flips over forward. The other guy essentially does a backflip, landing into a DDT, and it's just fucking crazy. But imagine doing that like from the second rope, like the way Adam Cole does the Panama Sunset. That would be fucking killer.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Wasn't it Mordos who did the running DDT
Dude,
thing?
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he did.
What would your finisher be there, little guy?
Ghost, I think she's still talking to you.
No, I'm talking to you, Blade.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
Blade.
Oh. I just want to be clear, it doesn't hurt my feelings that you call me little guy, okay? But I prefer
Joshi, what would your finisher be?
little pal.
Little pal?
Eh,
Little pal.
Little
okay,
pal.
that would be my
it sounds like a
finisher.
vibrator. You see on the Spice Channel back in the day, scrambled porn.
Channel 52.
Yeah, back in my day.
So my finisher would be called the Sickos dildo.
The Sickos dildo?
Yes.
What would it be?
I'm trying to figure out what it would entail. You know, maybe
Oh, we have a name, but we don't have a move.
I'm trying to
I want to call mine the Sickos driver.
That's like me as a teenager being like, yeah, I started a band. We're called this. We're called this. What do you guys play? Nothing.
Well, maybe when the ref's not looking, you take
Yeah.
the dildo and you use it on your opponent, and that's how
Hey,
you win the match.
we do not. I want to be clear that we do not condone non-consensual pegging.
No, but you ask for the consent first.
Oh,
and
okay.
then
They think they're just getting a little
overly
mid-match treat.
complicated.
They think they're getting a little mid-match treat. And then, but it like electrocutes them and then becomes a finish.
It's definitely going to be in a GCW match.
Yes.
Okay, so
This sounds like a Joey Janela match. Yeah.
but we wouldn't insert the
Yes,
dildo into the butthole. You could use it
You
as
just slap him with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a blunt force
Like-
weapon.
Or like Star Wars
Yeah.
style. Yeah,
Lightsaber.
say like a
Exactly.
lightsaber type of thing.
Yeah. And what's
You
your
know.
favorite? What's your favorite porno parody?
One Night in China. I have no idea.
Topical. I saw one when I
Hulk
was
Hogan's sex tape. No, disgusting.
so when I was a kid, we had
Yeah.
one of those like illegal cable boxes, you know,
Mhm.
like or whatever. I don't know if they had those in Canada, but
Mhm.
down here we're all a bunch of fucking, you know, scumbags. So, but Cinemax, you know, would turn to Skinemax or whatever at like 11 at night. And, you know, I just want to say that when it comes to parodies of great films done as softcore porn, the Bear Wench Project is just it's tasteful. It's got good set design. You know,
Okay,
it's
I know
just
then you haven't seen any of the latest stuff because there's like a Green Lantern one that just came out and it's got fucking production value.
Wow.
but I don't want to watch one of those ones that's on like Pornhub that's like this is a Simpsons parody and then it's just people fucking in yellow paint. Like, you know? Like I
Yeah.
want story. We're talking this is storytelling that we love here, you
Well,
know?
these new ones have good story.
Does Homer eat a donut in that parody or some
Donut
Duff beer?
is used.
Duff beer?
So, Ghost,
See,
what do you think makes a wrestler timeless? You know, not in the Tony Storm sense, even though Tony Storm is a goddamn gift to pro wrestling
goddess.
and
Yes.
rookie of the year. You know, just damn,
Absolutely.
she's just blowing it up. Much like I did after some Taco Bell. What do you think makes a wrestler timeless? You know, like what sets apart someone like, you know, Kenny Omega or, you know, even just any of the legends that still resonate with people like today? Like what separates them from someone who can't seem to get past, you know, the second match of the night? Like what is it that they have? Like what is it that for you anyway that sets a top guy apart from
Well, you know, I just discovered less than 12 hours ago that the key to that is you have to have had a short, curly haired, shaggy mop of a hairstyle when you're just starting out your career. Because all guys, at least for the men who have that, will go on to be the greatest of all time. Bryan
Okay.
Danielson, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, Will Ospreay. They all had shaggy mops. And that seems to
Okay.
be the common factor, if you will.
What about you there, Blade Daily?
I think the weird thing about the wrestling business is that you have all these like ex wrestlers, promoters, blah 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 blah. Really, you would think people who should know something about the business, right? And what they do is they always talk in these extremes, right? It's like, well, character matters more than the matches, and this always should be this way, and that's not what wrestling is. It's very situational. Like Joshi was saying, you know, earlier, saying that, you know, wrestling isn't cinema, and I would agree. By and large, it's not. Right? Like as an art form, I don't think it is, but it can be cinematic without trying to be something that it's not. And I think that's what too often happens in wrestling is people get caught in these extremes. Like WWE views being a wrestling company as like a downgrade from what they think of themselves as, right? So they go to this extreme. Well, we're not a wrestling company. We're a show about wrestling. And they sound like fucking idiots. So what makes a wrestler timeless is somebody whose character and work embodies the time that they're living in. That's what makes somebody timeless, is those are always going to be the people who stand out the most. I think the kind of quasi nihilism of like Orange Cassidy is one of the things that makes him stand out so much, because that's how a lot of us feel.
So who would you say right now is someone who kind of captures the moment of, you know, where we are in a wrestling sense character wise then? Like, who would you say is, when we look back at this era of pro wrestling, like, who do you think is going to be one of the, well, you know, it doesn't have to be the guy, but who do you think is going to be one of the guys that, at least, that we're going to be looking at saying, man, that was the guy for that time, or that was the woman for that time, you know? Like, who is it going to be? Like,
For me, it's Hangman Page.
yeah, why Hangman?
Because his character's journey.
I love Hangman, but
yeah, his character and his journey is timeless. It is an eternal human experience, which is the conflict within yourself, being pushed too far to where you kind of lose control, and trying to find your way back from the wilderness of your own self brutality, almost, which is kind of the journey he's on right now. He's a wrestler who doesn't need a belt ever to be one of the most interesting parts of a show.
He does look damn good with a belt, though, doesn't he?
He does. He
does. He sure does.
Get Big Platinum back on our boy.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. No, Hangman is low key one of the greatest ever. It's happening right in front of our eyes, but it's so subtle and low key, people don't see it a lot of the time. And
that's, I think, again, like, a lot of the stuff you were saying about Hangman and what makes him resonate so well is that depth. It's those layers to character. It's not the 80s anymore, as much as, we love the cheesy old retro shit. Like, I think, while there is like we've talked about, there is a place for that, and I love it. I love the goofy shit. I'm a ham. I am a silly goose numero uno. But
no,
I do, especially the older I get, I want that depth in my entertainment, and I at least am someone who loves seeing the human condition kind of portrayed out cinematically, or in a performance, or in art in general. And I think a lot of people are like that. We love seeing ourselves in the art we consume, right?
I completely agree. And since no one has mentioned a woman yet, I will say Mercedes Moné, 100%. I think we're going to be talking about her for years. What she's doing around the globe, nobody else is doing it. Her wrestling.
Not Mercedes, isn't she just like a tyrant, giving herself all the belts? Oh my god!
I know, right? That drives me crazy when people say
she books herself.
But I feel when I think of women's wrestling now, I think about her. Like, her face just stands out to me because her wrestling is so consistent. She's all over the place representing AEW, like on talk shows. She goes to football games and whatnot with her belts. She, to me, is women's wrestling at the moment. And I mean, there's so many excellent women right now. Like, don't get me wrong, but she really is the face of it. And I think we're going to be talking about her for a really, really long time.
She definitely epitomizes superstar. Superstar.
Yeah. And I'm so glad to see, kind of the turnaround that she's had in the last few months since coming to AEW. Because, I mean, we don't even have to talk about it, because I know everyone kind of knows and understood that, like, her first few months nothing happened. It didn't do anything for her. She wasn't doing much. She wasn't. I don't think she fully connected with where she was at in the moment, and like everyone assumed she was probably hurt and whatnot. I mean, it's not worth arguing about or talking, because she's kicking ass right now, and what she's been doing the last few months has been, I mean, as a woman wrestler, in my mind, like, incredible. She's kind of on she's on her belt collector run, And, regardless of what these, fucking knuckle draggers online think, like, it's not because she's politicking herself to every single promotion. Like, they
No, she's a
have their
star.
own, yeah, like, they have their own creative, they have their own writers. Like, I think
Mhm.
because of the bullshit that happened in WCW at the end, and kind of the shit that destroyed WCW, I think everyone is kind of, they glom on real quick to this idea that, like, every wrestler who's a top person in the company they don't like must only be at the top because there's some backstage tyrant, or
Right.
they're politicking themselves out for belts and shit like that. But, like, that's not what's happening. It's just that these are incredible performers who are being recognized for their talent, and even if it's not for you, like, that doesn't mean that they're this monster. It just means that, maybe you should open your mind a little bit more if every other place is noticing the talent, but you're not.
As far as women wrestlers go, I have to say Toni Storm, just
Of
because of the
course.
sheer
Yeah.
magnitude of her character as timeless. If we can be real for a minute, like, not even just like involving her moves in the ring. She's very talented in the ring, but this character she's created, the way she acts and behaves, the way she's done her promos, how she outdid herself like every single week. You didn't know what to expect, and you're like, okay, how's she gonna top that? There's no way she'll top it. The next week she does something even fucking crazier. Like,
And
she's
you
on a
believe
level
it.
that
And
no
you
other woman will
believe it.
see. Yeah,
Like, to
exactly.
Yeah.
me, to me, part of what really sold her, like, the magic of Tony Storm, and I mean, y'all know that Moxley's my guy. Like, that's my favorite wrestler is John Moxley. But
Oh, we know.
I love you too, Jack Perry. Um, but I think Tony Storm is the best thing in wrestling right now. I think she is the most talented and most unique, most innovative, just all around talent that there is in wrestling right now. I mean, who else could take this, kind of crazed Betty Davis, or, like, whatever happened to Baby Jane, like, coded character,
Mhm.
and make me tear up at times from it, like,
Mhm.
not many people can do that, and I will applaud Tony Storm every chance. And what she's doing now, like, holy shit, man, she is just.
Brilliant.
Before we get out of here, Ghost, why don't you tell us what Sickos Club means to you? Why you're here? Why this is important to you?
Well, I've always wanted to start a club, so to speak. Some of my friends on Blue Sky kind of started a thing. They called themselves the Gremlins Club, and I thought, oh, that's cool. And then Tony drops that whole Sickos tweet that just inspired this whole thing, and I thought, oh my God, Sickos Club. I better make that before somebody else does.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that everybody in the Threads community was so receptive of it and supportive and took to it was just fucking amazing. Like, in a marketing class, I heard about this concept of the tribe and how important it was to like find your tribe and know who you are and the kind of people you fit in with. And that was depressing because at that time I had no tribe. And I
Yeah,
thought, well, that's something I'm never going to fucking find. But like in the midst of all this, it's incredible because I have found my tribe. And there are so many people that are saying and will say the exact same thing that have echoed that sentiment. It's just this awesome fucking community of people that love wrestling and love celebrating it, and it's not bitching about it, except for when we're legitimately criticizing it, of course. But yeah, that's what being a sicko means to me.
far out, man, far out. What about you, Joshi?
So, there's a lot of negativity surrounding professional wrestling, especially AEW, and it gets really old, and
Mhm.
it gets tiring to hear complaining, and especially over things that are so trivial. So to me, Sickos Club is a respectful, tolerant, and positive wrestling community where we discuss what we love about wrestling, what it means to us, how it ties into other art forms. Like I know, Brett, for you, it's writing. Uh, Blade, for you, it's like me, we're just super obsessed with it because, we've watched it ever since we were kids. But yeah, like Ghost, I know for you, it's your drawings and design. So it's very interesting to me that for you, Brett, and for you, Ghost, you're able to bring two art forms together and combine them. And I think I would like to see more of that. And I think that with Sickos Club, we can do that, and we can get more people to share their the art forms that they love, and explain how they connect to professional wrestling. I just want a really positive community where we accept different kinds of people and we don't accept shitty people.
Amen, sister.
Hell
Amen. No
yeah.
shit bags. No shit bags. Fuck you, Hogan. What about you, Blade?
Well, I think we got to just tell the story is, Joshi and I had been doing this podcast, Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, for, I don't know, 5 months or something like that. And Brett and Ghost were two of the people I really enjoyed interacting with on Threads, like more than others. And you both had posted some of your artworks. And I remember thinking, like, wow, it'd be really cool to have them like work on something for us, or like, to work on something together. And I get this message from Brett one day with this pitch, and the pitch was really cool because it was, hey, me and Ghost think you guys are awesome, and we have this idea. What if we did like some kind of art collective thing that's wrestling related, instead of all these websites that cover wrestling kind of like traditional sports? What if we had this group that covered wrestling, like if the Art Kids did an art collective about wrestling? And that was my brain exploded when I heard that, because that makes so much sense to me. We're going to be absurd. We're going to have fun. We're going to create wild, unhinged art in tribute to this thing we love so much. And at the same time, let's remind ourselves how to fucking have fun. This is about fun. That's what wrestling is, baby. And
Yeah.
even more so, as dumb as wrestling is and can be, and as trivial as it might feel at times, what's coming in America right now is dark. And we defeat chaos, the chaos of that. We defeat that with community. And if you go to sickosclub.com right now, Brett has written something, Ghost has written something, and I've written something. We want to create a community around Sickos Club that you can all feel like you're a part of, because you are. It's not us. It's not just the four of us. It's all of us. And so go to sickosclub.com. Check it out, man.
Like the man said, you can go to sickosclub.com if you want to hear why I'm doing this, because that's what the fuck I wrote about. So, just go to sickosclub.com, because then you can see all the other cool shit we have there, rather than me just repeating it on here like some kind of fucking robot.
Sickosclub.com.
Anyway,
sickosclub.com.
this has been a super fun first show. It's only going to be more fun from here.
Sickos Club.
I don't have very many closing thoughts today, so I'm just going to leave you with this. Remember, folks, be absurd, annoy a fucking fascist, and peg the world, baby. I'll see you next week. Mwah! All right, dude, you want to like go get a burrito or something?
Yeah, fuck it, let's go.
All right, let's go.